Who's first?
How's the hamstring feel?
It's coming along. Just trying to take it a day at a time. Frustrated not being able to, be out there competing, but trying to do my best to listen to what the doctors and trainers are saying and trust everything in the process.
You might be tempted to push it. How do you not do that? Go ahead.
They tell me no. I would be out there trying to push through it. More like staying in the pocket and stuff. I try to plead my case, but everyone has a job to do. They're looking out for me, and I appreciate that. But you're also fighting the battle to get out there, so it's tough.
Can you say already you threw a touchdown on the last play? Did it happen before that or on that?
Yeah, it happened a couple plays before that.
On a run or
Run.
I mean, the Browns really like your mobility, and that's part of your game. So, do you feel like when you come back, you're going to be that same guy, or you're going to have to manage it?
No, I'll have to manage it whenever I'm back, probably a few weeks after, based on the injury and where I'm at. But I think it gives me a great opportunity just to work from the pocket, find checkdowns, really improve my game from the pocket. So I think if I look at it with that lens, it could be a real positive.
Is it your target to be ready for the Carolina practice?
I can't say if that's the target or not. I want to be out there. I think there's ways that I could be able to get out there. Really just taking it a day at a time.
Ironic that here you are out with hamstring, and then Shador was out today with some arm soreness, and Joe and Dylan had to take all the team reps. Did that seem like kind of an odd practice to have to see it like that?
I don't think so. I think it's next man up, and when you're not in a competition, I think you're losing ground. I think that's just the nature of the business, the nature of the game. So it's great for those two guys to get extra reps, and me and Shador got to get back out there.
Kenny, when you are not able to get out there, what personally do you do to still stay involved in the team meeting room, in those meetings, to really just kind of stay in the
Yeah, I just go about it as if I'm practicing, studying the script for the day, and like Tommy says, we're kind of treating each practice like a game plan, getting it the night before, being able to study to go out there and prepare, and then every rep they get, I just get a mental rep behind them. So there's ways to steal it, with some film reps too. I got to do some one-on-ones at the end of the day, which was great, and it felt great doing stuff in the pocket. So a lot of positives, just trying to keep my mind frame there.
How crucial are those mental reps, especially in this scenario?
Yeah, they're everything for me right now. That's all I'm able to get. So, trying to learn from what they do, what went well, what didn't go well. So when I get back out there, I don't make the same mistakes, and I can do the same positive that those guys are doing.
Has your determination to win the starting job, is it exactly the same as it was before this injury?
It is.
What's your mindset?
Yeah, 100% it is. I'm trying to get back out there, as fast as possible. I've never had, a soft tissue injury like this, so really a first-time experience in my career. I felt like I came in great shape, was hitting numbers speed-wise that I've never hit before, so it's frustrating that it happened, but turn the page and just trying to be, as good as I can be when I do return.
How do you think you said you've never had like a soft tissue thing like this before. I know they can be so finicky, and you have to manage them very carefully. Like, has that created any extra pressure or anything like that in terms of the management?
A little bit, because you just can't push it too much, because you could really set yourself back. It's not one of those injuries that you can just go play on and not really think about it as much. So just constant communication with the trainers and really listening to them, because like I said, it's my first time having it. I don't know what to expect going through the process, just really listening to the doctors and the trainers.
Do you feel like this affects something like an injury like that? What is it treatment?
Treatment? I think, I've been doing stuff pretty much 24/7, like, getting in at like 6:30, stretching, strengthening, ice, stim, some heat before I go out here, stretching. Then a lot of recovery stuff on the back end, some more strengthening. I go home and I have some equipment at home that I can use. So it's really 24/7, just trying to stay on top of it, do the best I can to get back as fast as possible.
Do you feel like this affected the competition, and do you feel like it's been a setback because you had to miss time?
Oh yeah, listen, like I said, if you're not out there, I think it's a setback. You have to be out there playing and competing to win a job, and I fully understand that. That's why I'm pushing to get back, as fast as possible.
And could there possibly be a silver lining? I know you mentioned some of the positives, but could there be a silver lining for you just in terms of what you have to learn mentally, or could this have a
Yeah, I'm happy it happened early in camp, and not 3 or 4 weeks in. So I think that's a positive way to look at it. And like I said, just getting the mental reps, working more from the pocket. So trying to spin it in all those positive ways that I could really come out better on the other side of it.
Kind of off of that, is it a positive that you've been in the league now, this is your 4th year, that it happened, you know, you have experience, you've been through this a few years, then compared to when it happened like as a rookie, is there a difference there?
I would say that too. You know, having experience and having, you know, a lot of game snaps, you know, under my belt, a lot of practice reps under my belt, I think it's definitely better that it happened to a more veteran guy that has a little bit more experience versus a rookie. You know, that would make life even harder as a rookie. But I'm glad I do have that experience I can kind of fall back on.
So you haven't been told when you can go back to team drills?
No, not yet.
In terms of your mobility that we already talked about a little bit, but when you have a hamstring issue as a mobile quarterback, and that's kind of your superpower in this competition, it seems to me, that makes it even trickier than if, say, like Joe suffered a hamstring injury, right?
Joe can move a little bit. Give him some credit. It's like I said, it makes it tougher, but that's it's the game. It's part of the game. So I think working the pocket movement stuff, staying in the pocket, going through reads, hitting checkdowns. I know I have the instinct to create plays outside the pocket, but I just can't do that as soon as I'd like to. Good.
Okay, good to see everybody. Going to be a beautiful day out here. Obviously, a good day to get some work in. Greg will not practice. He's really day-to-day with that shoulder. I'm going to hold Miles out of today's practice, just precautionary rest. But should be a good group of guys pushing each other today. And then we got a day off tomorrow, and then start talking about Carolina next week. But with that, I'll take any questions.
Is it, with Miles, is it something injury precautionary?
Yeah.
Or just veteran rest?
Just taking care of him.
Is Pickett going to be doing team stuff today?
Not yet. Yes, more of what he did yesterday.
And can you comment on the offense in general yesterday, and in particular Gabriel's day? Was it as sloppy as it looked to us?
There's the old adage that it's never as bad as you think or never as good as you think as a coach when you go in to watch the tape. I would tell you, with any of our players, and in particular Dylan, who's wants to be great and wants to be great at practice, there's times that you're going to go through a tough period out here at practice, a tough 7-on-7, a tough team period, whatever it may be, and then you really try to learn from those reps.
Kenny, how did you just in general see, everything, kind of see the hamstring respond and after that time off?
Yeah, he's pushing himself to get back to full team periods as soon as possible. We're also going to be smart and be appropriate with where he is, but I thought he did a nice job yesterday, and we'll continue to work that day to day.
Kevin, it looked like Jerome might have rolled the ankle on that one run. Is he okay?
He's okay.
With Joe Tryon-Troika, I know he's switching from the 3-4 to 4-3. What do you guys think that can unlock in him?
Yeah, I think you see this skill set, Scott. You see big, long speed. I mean, he can really run, he can really bend, and he's got great length. So those are great traits to have when you're talking about coming out of a 3-point stance or a 2-point stance. But I think it's for us is just understanding the player, understanding where you can move him around to maximize him. But football's football. Whether you're in a 3-4 scheme or a 4-down scheme, he's a good football player.
What did you learn about his personality?
Yeah, great. He's was around a lot in the spring. Teammates really like him. He practices very, very hard, which I appreciate. Doesn't say a ton. He's quiet, but gets along really well with this group.
Kevin, with Pickett being ready for Carolina.
It's hard to say, Jeff. I'm really just focused on today.
Kevin, with a guy like Harold Fannin, do you learn more about him once the pads go on and once guys can start hitting him a little bit?
I think honestly, Dan, I think you learn about everybody when the pads go on, and it's more physical. Like we've talked a lot in the off season, you have to take everything in the off season with a huge grain of salt because there's no contact. And then once you finally get out here and you can have contact, I think you make better evaluations of your players. But also, for instance, Harold, you had a lot of college tape to go off of, so you know what the player is, and then you want to see how that translates to the field.
Kevin, because Harold's so young and still new to the position, would you say he's ahead of schedule?
Really hard for me to say. He's right where I need him to be, right where he should be, and we'll continue to grow. With him, he'll earn a role. We're not giving those things out just yet.
In the past, like most that you've seen to this point in camp, just in general, offensively.
Again, I think it falls under the category of the guys are doing everything we're asking them to do. I think they're practicing hard. I think they're understanding some of the nuance in our scheme. They're certainly understanding some of the new techniques that are being taught by their coaches. So really have a pretty narrow focus when it comes to where we are as a football team just in general, but certainly offensively just focusing on making sure that they're getting an understanding of the schemes and the techniques.
In the past, you've carried as many as 4 tight ends on the 53. Do you see going back to that this year?
I have no idea. I think we're too far away to think about that.